Hello everyone, big warm welcome from me. It's Carol here at Oak House Journals, and I'm going to make a start on my Junk Journal January 2024 challenge, which is being hosted by Meg. Details in the description box if the challenge is new to you. As you can see, I've got here just a printout of the prompts we're working to, and the first one for day one is resolutions. I will be creating a different prompt list in due course to go inside my journal when I do the journal cover, and for now my journal looks like this. I've got a protective fly sheet, I've got the internal page which is my title page, and this is the page I'm going to be working on for this first prompt. So let me lift it out. Now, as you can see, all my signatures and obviously this page has been coffee dyed and there are some splatters on it, but I'm going to actually cover this one up today. And what I've done is I've lifted out this background piece. Now, this is a piece of pretty heavyweight mixed media cardstock, and I created this background in 2023. I was trying out a new technique using cling film, and it left me with all these lovely variations. So I'm going to be chopping this in half and using a portion of this to cover my page. I'm also going to be using some of this, which is transparency film for printers. I've also lifted out some archival ink, some of these peg stamps. Now these are the American typewriter font, and these are the small size, and as you can see they're lowercase. And I've got a well used and much loved vintage photo distress ink pad here, and I'm also going to be using that. I'm not quite sure what else I'm going to be using. I think my page might involve a little bit of stitching, but we'll see in due course. So let's make a start. So I'm going to put the camera on hyperlapse, and I will share some pictures or some photographs at the end so that you can have a look at what I create. So the first thing I went in to do was to cut my background piece to the size of my journal page, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. What I was trying to do was get a lighter, almost golden portion in the middle of my page. And now I'm going around the outside with a blending tool and vintage photo distress ink just to give a frame. And then I go in with another blending tool directly on the edge of my page to make it even darker. A few splatters of water to try and activate and give a ghosting effect to the ink that I've just added, and a blast with my heat gun. To be honest, it didn't work particularly well, so I did go in again and add a few more splatters. I then go round on my sewing machine to create a couple of lines of messy stitching, just burnishing the stitching on the reverse. And here I'm lifting out one of the transparency sheets. I take it away to my printer and print an image or two images of fractured glass. You can hardly see them there on that background, so I'm bringing in the reverse of my background piece and I'm just showing you the image that I've tried to print. It's very lost on my busy background, or on the right side of my background. Here I'm cutting it to size, and then I go in with a Faber-Castell permanent ink marker pen, and I try to highlight the image that I've printed on the printer to make it more distinct. I've put it on a white piece of paper here, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to go over some of the shatter lines with the permanent marker pen. And I particularly pay attention off camera actually to the inside portion that or inside edge, because I've gone in here and I'm cutting it out, but I want to define that inside edge where I've done the cutting so that it's quite distinct. Doing this cutting was a little bit fiddly, but I managed to get it done. And here I am, as I say, going over that inside edge, just trying to make it more distinct. Sorry, my head's creeping into frame there. And I think it looks a lot better, and it certainly stands out much clearer on my background now. So now I'm bringing in a little alphabet stamp. This is one by Dove Crafts. It's an alphabet stamp set and they're capital letters. So I've just taped with some washi tape two together the word B, B-E, and it's just an outline of those initials or those letters. So I'm again going in with the permanent marker pen and filling the letters in. And as you can see, I've tried to get them so that they would sit nicely in the area that I've cut out. Now I've got those pegs or those stamps that clip together, the alphabet stamps, and I'm creating some words to represent my resolutions this year. And I start stamping on the film itself, but I decide that even though these letters are small, they are pretty big and they're going to dominate my piece too much. So I've added some keywords using that stamp set, and then having found out that this permanent marker pen works perfectly on this film, I'm writing some other resolutions, some on the top of the film and others underneath. A little bit tricky when I'm writing underneath because I've got no guide, so I'm just roughly trying to get an idea of where the lines are, the fracture lines, so that the words that I write on the background will sit either on a line or between the lines. And I just carry on writing away all the resolutions that I want to have this year. And that's that, it's all complete now. Here I've got a scrap of fabric and I'm making a hinge. So it's just a piece of linen fabric. And I put a small dab of glue down the left hand edge of the acetate, or the film rather, sorry. And then add my fabric over the top. It's got a nice frayed edge. Just settling it into place. Got a loose thread there. And then I'm placing it on top of my background. Not enough glue at the top, so an extra little dab of glue up there. And then I'm putting glue, as you can see, down the left hand side of my background. Positioning my acetate over the top. Trying to centre the word B in the middle of that fracture. A couple of little pegs to hold it in place as I flip it over. And then I go in with some more glue to hold my fabric in place on the back. So as you can see, I've just created a hinge really, so that I can lift up that piece of film if I want to reveal the background. Smoothing it in place using my bone folder and just snipping it across the top and the bottom. It's better from the other direction, Carol. There we go. And that's what it looks like with my hinge. I decided I don't like the straight edge on the film, so I'm going in here with hairdressing thinning scissors, which I normally use just for creating the edge on postcards, not postcards, postage stamps or faux postage stamps. But having found out that they work perfectly well on this film, I've decided to go in and just roughen up that edge a little bit. And here finally I'm bringing in my glue book, adding a liberal amount of glue stick or glue from my glue stick to the reverse of my background. And then trying not to get too much glue on my fingers, I'm bringing in my page and gluing my finished piece onto my background. So there we go everybody, that's my first prompt for Junk Journal January. And if you've not guessed, the fracture marks or the fracture image that I tried to use on my piece today was to indicate how often I break my New Year's resolutions. So here we are with just a few close-up pictures for you to have a look at. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you for prompt number 2. Bye bye now.